Poonam Mawani. I'm the Finance Director at Spencer Ogden. Quick little bit about myself. I qualified in practice at Montes PLC in Baker Tilly before moving into corporate finance, where I kind of fell into recruitment and have been here ever since. I don't know if anyone ever actually tends to go into recruitment, just fall into it. Background about the company that I work for. Spencer Ogden was formed in a joint partnership between David Spencer Percival and Sir Peter Ogden, picture of them both, in January 2010. We had a start-up capital of £500,000. We have internal investment of 2.2 million to date. We have external investment from our bankers of a £6 million line and ID facility with RBS. And we currently have a headcount of 130 across 6 offices: London, Aberdeen, Glasgow, Qatar, Houston and Singapore. Spencer Ogden, what we do is energy, predominantly oil and gas, but we do power nuclear, energy, smart mining, renewables, any form of energy. What we pride ourselves on is doing everything from the beginning process all the way up to trading the commodity with a finance and trading desk also. In 2010, we had a net fee income of 1.4 million on a 4.2 million turnover. In 2011, we had net fee income of 6 million on a turnover of 18.2. And this year, we're forecasted to do net fee income of 11 million on a turnover of 30 million. We have a contractor base of 60% with a perm base of 40, and we have regions in EMEA, US and Asia. We're a global recruitment business servicing only energy and natural resources. We are a niche industry, we don't want to dabble with everything, we know what we're good at and we're happy to stick with that. We supply contract, temporary and permanent personnel on a global basis. We are disciplined in specific recruiters, so we don't just have our academies every wave of every 3 months. We have a new intake of 10 graduates straight out of university, train them up with our internal training team, and let them loose on each of the divisions, but we have a mix of experienced hires as well. We're recognised for being fast growing in our industry, and we'll make that continue. We recruit across 8 sector platforms, as I mentioned: renewables, power, finance, mining, trading, smart energy. What is extreme growth? As I mentioned, we have quite a big turnover and our headcount has increased dramatically over the past 3 years. And I guess this presentation is talking to you about the issues that we had, how we overcome them and how you guys can overcome them in dealing with them yourselves. We had 4 offices in our first year, only 1 new one in 2011, and we're predicting 4 new ones this year. Drivers of the growth. We had expansion into complementary sectors. So for example, we opened our finance and trading desk in August 2011. Mining opened February this year. New geographies, so targeting clients in areas that we haven't tapped before, in particularly new countries that we haven't been before. Increase in consultant headcount, so again, as I mentioned, we have the graduate intakes every 3 months, but also a mix of experienced personnel. And increased business with existing clients, so we've very much gone down the key accounts route and cross-selling to existing clients and getting the most we can out of them. Challenges and the solutions to them. Cash flow, probably the biggest area to deal with a fast-growing company. All the profits that we make, we put back into the business for growth, whether that be the new academies or new offices opening. The one thing I will say is please make sure you're on top of your cash and treasury management. Daily cash management, forecasting and communication with your suppliers is key. This will enable you to have the flexibility to grow and adapt very quickly to whatever might come your way. You're unable to deal with your unforeseens if you haven't dealt with your cash flow. Infrastructure. The challenges are initiating systems, whether that be your front office database system that your consultants use, your mid-office for dealing with your contractor payroll, all the way through to your back office, which is your account system. Finding systems that can cope with the increased transaction volumes, new locations and foreign currencies is key. Now, I admit that sometimes having a crystal ball would be great, and understanding where you're going to be in 5 years' time is sometimes a bit of a guessing game. However, what I will say is please go back to your business plans that you had right from the beginning and think about where you saw your business going in 5 years' time, and based on those is where you need to think about what systems you need and implementing them as early as possible. Even when you sometimes think, actually I'm okay at the moment, but in a year's time I'm going to be growing so rapidly that I'm going to need a system in place. This is probably the best time to put it in. Having a designated project manager to see those projects through is also key. I'm sure the suppliers that we have out there will say, I wish we had one point of contact who we could deal with for everything and who would in effect delegate out the relevant tasks. Having that person managing that project is key. Staffing. So the challenges are finding ambitious staff who can grow with the business and retaining and motivating them. What you want to have is a mix of ages and experience. You don't want a very young team in your back office because they need a lot of hand-holding. On the other hand, you don't want a lot of experienced hires because they'll get bored quickly. What we do is we offer training contracts to key staff, so whether that be on studying ACCA, CIMA, AAT or ICM if they're in the credit control department. This locks in staff for 3 to 4 years. It helps with succession planning and motivates them. If they understand what they're doing, they're going to be better at it. You also want a mix of ambitions in your team. You don't want all of your team all thinking that they're going to be FDs tomorrow, because you're just going to have a bit of a clash of cultures. You want a bit of churn, sometimes is good in business. You want to make sure that you've got a mix of personalities. Red tape. Growing so quickly means that there are a lot of legal requirements and accounting and reporting requirements that you need, and you need to have good advisors in all of those disciplines, whether that be having a good relationship with your accountants, your auditors, solicitors, and also your bankers as well. They're going to be the key providers to helping you with researching all the information that you need. Specifically if you're opening up a new location, you'll need to research everything in as much depth as you can. Obviously you don't know everything. I wish I did. I wish I knew all the tax regimes in the world, but unfortunately I don't. But that's why you rely on your advisors to giving you that information, researching things, going to them saying, have I missed out anything, please advise. Going back and reviewing the decisions that you've made is key. There might be legal changes, for example in the Middle East where oil and gas predominantly resides. The Qatari government might all of a sudden decide that they might change it that foreign entities can have free reign as well as the local entities. Great if they did. Unfortunately, we need to keep up with that. We need to keep up with our competitors. Risk management. Adapting the business to mitigate emerging risk and maintaining a strong internal control environment. Having robust management and the review of the control environment is important. Making sure that each member of your team has strong KPIs, even in back office. This will enable all staff to be pulling in the same direction and wanting the same thing. Having continuous change management procedures is important. When you're growing so quickly, it's very easy for your staff to say, oh, I'm not used to the change and I'm not liking this. You need everybody to buy into the same thing in order for it to be successful. Have constant dialogue with everyone, whether that be the consultants or back office. Everyone needs to be involved in what they're doing and understand it. The more they understand, the more they're going to be adaptable as well. Keeping up with the entrepreneurial CEO. Having a good relationship with the CEO for an FD is incredibly important. You need to be able to trust each other. You need to be able to understand each other's strengths and areas of development and support each other in the decisions. There are things that I might highlight to David, the CEO, that I work for, that he might not necessarily have thought of. And that's why having a good partnership is important in making the decisions that's right for the business. Regular catch-ups. It's easy to forget the ongoing daily tasks when new exciting projects come on board, making sure that you haven't forgotten them and everyone's on top of what they should be doing. I think in conclusion, I guess what I wanted to say was, it's all about planning, it's all about research, it's all about where you want your business to be and making sure you do the steps in order to get there. There's a lot of hard work that goes into it. It's very easy for me to stand here and say, this is what you need to do. If there was a manual on writing a successful business, we'd all be millionaires. But you know, one thing I can say is I've devoted my life, since I've been at Spencer Ogden, to the cause. I've got an incredibly supportive family, and you know, I don't think anybody could detract that from, if you want a successful business, work hard at it. There's no such thing as never making a mistake, but you learn from them, and you know, hopefully that makes you a stronger company.